I couldn't believe this was happening to me. I thought I was safe, a fresh start, a new job, a new life, until Mr. Walker showed up. The moment I heard his name, a chill ran down my spine. He couldn't possibly be here. He wasn't supposed to be here. I had left him behind, or so I thought. But when I saw him standing there, everything I had built came crashing down in an instant. What did he want? Why now? One thing was certain, the past was never as far behind as I thought. I had been working at my old company for almost 2 years. At first, everything seemed fine, and I thought I could handle it. But gradually, I realized that what I was dealing with wasn't just a difficult job, but a toxic work environment that was beyond anything I could imagine. Things started to change when I had to work directly with Mr. Walker, my new boss. He always had unreasonable demands and an unpleasant attitude. There were days when I would barely sit down at my desk and hadn't even opened my computer when I'd get a call from him. "I see you have an email from a client. You need to come to my office right now to inform me about it," he'd say. It was strange because all I had to do was glance at my inbox to see those emails. But no, I had to stop everything, go into his office, stand in front of him, and inform him that I had received the email. If I didn't do that, he'd look at me coldly and say something like, "You need to be more engaged with the job. Don't keep everything to yourself." But that wasn't the worst part. One time, when I took a day off due to personal reasons, he called and demanded that I come back to the office immediately, just to report why I wasn't there. Honestly, I was shocked and couldn't believe he would ask such a thing. And when I didn't share enough about my personal life with him, he started initiating conversations with my coworkers, probing into things I didn't want to talk about. It felt like I was being treated like an experiment, and every action I took was being watched, analyzed. However, what truly pushed me to my breaking point were the meetings. Every time I presented my work, he would find a way to criticize me unnecessarily. One time, I had completed a major project, and when I presented the results to the team, he tore everything apart. "You have no idea what you're doing," he said, even though I had put my heart and soul into the project. Then, he went on to tell everyone else that I was an incompetent employee, that I wasn't capable of working independently. Those words were like nails in my mind, eating away at me every day. There were nights I'd come home, feeling tense, exhausted, and my mind couldn't focus on anything other than the thought of having to face him the next day. And then one day, I decided that I couldn't keep going like this anymore. It was time to do something about it. My decision came rather suddenly, but it was the best decision I've ever made in my life. I walked into HR and told them everything I had been through with him. Not a single detail was left out. It was enough. As I walked out, I felt a little relief, but also a lot of fear. Fear because I didn't know if I would truly escape him. After leaving the company, I felt like I had just escaped a nightmare, but at the same time, I was afraid that things wouldn't end so easily. I couldn't forget those days when every morning I had to face Mr. Walker and his unreasonable demands, the constant criticism. When I walked out of HR and sent my resignation email, it felt like a huge weight had been lifted off my shoulders, but the anxiety still lingered. Could I really move on and continue in a new job without being haunted by those memories? I decided not to tell anyone about what had happened, except for my closest friends. I didn't want anything to do with it anymore. While I felt relieved, there were nights I stayed up, staring blankly at the ceiling, unable to shake the images of him standing in front of me, saying those cruel words. The meetings I had attended, the endless criticisms, all of it was still etched in my mind. Less than a week after quitting, I received a call from an unknown number. My heart raced, thinking it might be him or someone from the old company. But when I answered, it was just an announcement from HR. "We just wanted to confirm your resignation." The frustration in my chest grew. I couldn't understand why they felt the need to contact me again after they already knew my decision. I felt more and more that I could never escape the past. A few days later, I saw a notification on LinkedIn. Mr. Walker had viewed my profile. A chill ran down my spine. I didn't know if it was a coincidence or not, but I couldn't shake the feeling that he was watching me. Even though it was just a simple profile view, I felt like I was being surveilled again, just like the old days when I constantly had to deal with his threats and unreasonable demands. I immediately locked my profile and blocked him. Still, the sense of tension and fear wouldn't leave me. I kept worrying that he would find another way to contact me. The anxiety followed me everywhere, preventing me from truly relaxing. Even though I had a new job and a better environment, there were moments when I had to face the haunting images of the past. A part of me knew that leaving the old company wasn't the same as truly moving on. The emotional scars from that place ran deep. The pain, the sense of betrayal, and the loss of confidence in myself weren't something I could easily forget. While I had a new job, a fresh start, there were times when I couldn't escape those lingering shadows. And part of me realized that in order to truly move on, I would have to confront these things head on. After I left my old company, I thought I had truly escaped the past. But there was something I hadn't expected. The peace I found was only surface level. The new job, the new environment, everything was perfect. I was working with a friendly team, and my new boss was completely different, respectful of my personal space and always supportive when needed. But what I couldn't shake was the underlying anxiety. That feeling always lingered, like a shadow I couldn't escape, even though everything seemed fine on the outside. Although I had made a decision to move on and forget everything, there were moments when I couldn't help but think about Mr. Walker. I had blocked him on every platform, including LinkedIn, but the fear didn't go away. Every time my phone rang, whether it was a colleague or a friend, I couldn't shake the feeling of unease, wondering if it was him. I knew I couldn't live in fear forever, but every time I thought about facing him again, I felt like I was paralyzed, unable to move. That day, as I was sitting at my desk working, my phone buzzed. I didn't immediately look at the screen, but I saw that there was a missed call from an unfamiliar number. My heart immediately began to race. Could it be him? No way. I had blocked every possible contact. But why did I feel like something was wrong? Panic started to set in as I tried to focus on my work, but couldn't. I checked the call history again and saw that this number had called me 3 times throughout the morning. The anxiety shifted into full-blown dread. I hesitated, but then decided to call back. My heart was pounding as I pressed the call button. The phone rang, and when a calm voice answered, I realized it wasn't Mr. Walker. "Hello, this is Daniel, Mr. Walker's assistant. He asked me to reach out to you. He would like to arrange a meeting to discuss some important matters." The voice on the other end said. I stood frozen, unable to believe what I was hearing. That name, Walker, was back in my life, even though I had done everything I could to leave it all behind. I felt the blood drain from my face. Why was he contacting me through an assistant? Why did he want to meet with me? I wasn't ready to face him, and I didn't want any contact at all. But why did I feel so terrified? When I didn't respond, a series of questions began to flood my mind. Could I keep avoiding him forever? Was he watching me? Could he do something to force me back into his control? That feeling, the fear, the anxiety, all the things I had tried to leave behind were now stronger than ever. I knew I couldn't live in this constant state of worry, but I didn't know what to do. I tried to stay calm and ended the call, but the fear stayed with me, lingering in my chest, making it hard to breathe. Would I have to face him again? And if I did, would I be strong enough not to be dragged back into that nightmare? After that call, I couldn't shake the worry that had settled in my mind. The fear and anxiety wouldn't let go, even though I tried to convince myself that it was nothing to be concerned about. But no, I couldn't stop thinking about how Mr. Walker had found a way to reach out to me through his assistant. It only confirmed that he hadn't given up on controlling my life, even though I had moved far away. I tried to focus on my work, but every ring of the phone, every incoming email made me jump. The tension was like an undercurrent, silently overwhelming every thought I had. I couldn't relax anymore. I couldn't enjoy what I had. Every day felt like I was living in fear, waiting for something bad to happen. The next day, as I sat at my desk, my eyes glued to my computer screen, but my mind elsewhere, I received an unfamiliar email. It was from Mr. Walker's assistant, Daniel. The message wasn't long, just a simple line. "Mr. Walker wants to meet with you this weekend. He will be in town and would like to discuss some important matters." That name, once again. I felt a chill run down my spine. Why did he want to meet me? And why come all the way to this city? My mind tried to convince me that maybe he just wanted to talk, but the feeling in my stomach wasn't one of peace. Thousands of questions and doubts circled in my head, repeating over and over. I didn't know what to do. I sat there in silence for what felt like hours, feeling trapped by this anxiety I couldn't escape. I had made the decision to leave him, to leave that company, to start fresh, but now it felt like I was being pulled back into a past I'd worked so hard to bury. The memories of control, the tense meetings, the unjust criticisms, all flooded back. I couldn't let this continue. I couldn't let him have any more influence over my new life. But I didn't know what to do. Could I say no? Would he accept that I refused to meet, or would I have to face something I didn't want? I decided to turn to a friend I trusted to tell her what was happening. She listened quietly, not saying anything at first. After a long pause, she finally asked, "Are you sure you want to keep avoiding him? Or is this your chance to tell him that you've had enough?" Her question made me think. I felt like I was at a crossroads. Part of me wanted to completely cut ties and refuse to meet him, but another part of me feared that if I said no, he wouldn't leave me alone and would make things worse. The tension inside me grew, and I felt like I was standing on the edge of a decision I couldn't back out of. I knew I had to face him, but how could I do that without putting myself at risk of being hurt again? The answer wasn't clear in my mind yet. After talking to my friend, I felt more unsettled than ever. Her question hit me hard. Is this your chance to finally tell him that you've had enough? I couldn't stop thinking about it, because her question didn't just touch on my fear, it also sparked a determination inside me. Could I really keep living in fear forever? Or did I need to face my past in order to truly break free? In the end, I decided to meet him, not because I wanted to continue being controlled, but because I wanted the opportunity to finally end everything, to set myself free once and for all. I replied to Daniel's email confirming I would meet Mr. Walker that weekend. As the days went by, my anxiety didn't lessen, but I also started feeling a sense of strength slowly building inside me. The day came and everything felt suspended, like time had stopped. As I walked into the cafe where we were supposed to meet, I felt like I was stepping into a confrontation I couldn't avoid. I tried not to let fear take over. When I saw him walk in, a rush of conflicting emotions hit me. He looked the same, but my eyes saw him differently now. "Thank you for coming," Mr. Walker said, his voice calm as always. "I knew you'd understand why I needed to meet with you." I looked at him, no longer afraid, just calm and detached. "I don't want to continue this. I've made my decision to leave, and I need you to respect that." He seemed a bit surprised, but then he smiled. I thought you might change your mind, but I get it now, you're not mine anymore." In that moment, I realized something important. I didn't need to explain myself any further. My self-respect was enough. Nothing he said could shake me anymore. Every decision I made from now on would be mine, and I no longer feared facing my past. As the meeting ended, I stood up and felt a sense of relief I had never known before. I knew I had not just said no to him, but to everything he had imposed on my life. It wasn't just about rejecting him. It was about saying yes to myself, to the life I wanted to build. After that, I no longer worried about him. I learned that sometimes confronting the past and clearly stating what you want is the only way to break free from control and pain. Only when you stand up and defend yourself can you truly begin a new chapter in your life. My life no longer felt haunted by those bad memories. I didn't forget what had happened, but I didn't let it define me. I had learned to live for myself, and that was the most important lesson I could carry forward.